I think we're live. I think things are going okay here. All right. Let's get disclaimers out of the way here real quick. We'll jump into it. This is a weekly live broadcast. Pretty much every Thursday evening, 7 o'clock Central. This is where I'm at. I don't have a topic planned out. This is an Ask Me Anything session, basically. The only things I ask is be polite, keep it family friendly, don't start cussing at us, calling us names, being hateful. Any of those things will kick you out. We can have disagreements with people. We can have friendly debates. It's okay. We can still be friends, even if you disagree with us on a topic, or we disagree with you, or whatever. It's okay. We can still be friendly. We can still be friends afterwards. It's no big deal. Let's jump into it real quick. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. We've got Ruby here. Ruby from PA says, thanks for all the quail advice. We are absolutely welcome. Looks like Ruby left, you said, Verna. Well, hello to you, Verna. Good to see you too. Thanks for always hanging out with us on a Thursday evening. Let's see. We got Joy. Good to see you, Joy. And Buster, good to see you. Pappy's Homestead says evening to everyone. Good to see you too. And Katrina says, hey, everyone from Gilroy, California. Sorry I missed last week. I hope everyone is doing well. Doing well here. Hopefully you are too. And let's see. Verna says it's slow so far tonight. Wonder if everyone is gardening. Well, it's raining outside here. It's not hard rain. It's a steady rain. We need the rain, but it does kind of make you want to just stay inside, not go out and hang out. It's a little bit on the cool side, not cold, just cool and rainy. But we're supposed to get some good weather coming up. It is definitely just almost there. Probably this weekend could plant, but it is turkey season. I'll be turkey hunting, so probably wait till next weekend to go ahead and plant out things. Hops and Lops says, I have two does, sisters, bred March 26th and 27th. I had written them off as false pregnancies, but they made 3 nests this morning between the 2 of them. So, and there's a little, what do you call that, emoji, I think, thing there. So you have 2 does bred March 26th and 27th. Well, let's see how I can't do the math in my head when March. Yeah, that's a ways, isn't it? 26th. So that'd be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're like a little over a week out. So who knows? Yeah. I would just let them do it. Let them go and see if they have some babies. Good luck with that. I hope it works out well. Hi in the bread aisle says, hello, good sir, and everyone. Hello to you too. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to open my soda up here, get a drink real quick. Something on there. Maybe a piece of ice, or I don't know. Feels weird. It's probably my hands. I probably put lotion on my hand and then grab the soda and it has lotion on it. Hey, Rick, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. It is slow in the comments or the chat tonight. I do my best to, if I didn't say this earlier, I do my best to answer all the chat that's come in that's directed to me. You guys can chat with each other if you want to, and I kind of skip over those usually. But I'm in the dark. I need to turn on the light or turn up the light, huh? Let's do that here real quick. Hang on. It's hard for me to tell on my side sometimes. How's that? Is that better? We're in the light now. All right. Katrina says, how old are your new does when you breed them? I'm trying to figure out if I should do that now or wait for fall, planning on waiting. They were born day after Black Friday 2022, about 5 months old. So, it depends a little bit on the breeds, but assuming just a standard meat rabbit breed that gets to about 10 pounds, I like to wait till they're at least 6 months old and roughly 80 to 90% of their adult weight. So if they're going to be a 10-pound rabbit, I like to wait till they're close to about 8 to 9 pounds and 6 months old. Sometimes it takes a little longer for them to get to weight. Sometimes they hit weight before 6 months, but I wait till 6 months anyway. So hopefully that kind of helps kind of straighten that out. Verna says 25 watching, only 5 likes. Now we got 13 now. It'll pick up. It's all good. Hi in the bread owl says, will aggressive males attack females? No other males with them, and it's 1 male to 5 females. So you're talking about quail. So will an aggressive male attack females? Yeah, it could happen for sure. Most of the time I find that when you have aggression problems, it's usually the hens really that are the aggressive ones, but it could definitely be a rooster. You could have an aggressive rooster in there. And if he's aggressive, he's going to attack whatever other birds. It's not just necessarily, when you say attack too, make sure we're talking about the same thing. I think you probably already know this, but just to be sure, if what you're seeing is like feathers pulled from the back of their head, that's not aggression, that's breeding behavior. And the rooster is just breeding. They grab the feathers on the back of their head whenever they breed. And if they're breeding too much, not necessarily too much, but pretty, well, anyway, they can pull all the feathers out of the back of the head, and you'll have little strips, little bald strips on the back of all your hens' heads. That is breeding behavior. That's not aggression. Usually when you see aggressiveness with your quail, what you're going to find is they're pecking around the face, usually around the eyes, and around the rest of the face. That's where you're usually going to see aggression with them. But yeah, roosters can definitely do that. I just find most frequently it's the hens whenever I have aggression problems. Spartman says, no rain up here in South Dakota. Well, we went through a drought last year, and it was bad, hot and dry. It's supposed to be dry again this year. So I don't think we're in drought status right now, but we're real close. So we need the rain for sure. And this is a nice, steady, even rain. It's not just a big downpour all at once and then done. It's just kind of light, steady rain. So it's a good kind of rain for us to have. We're supposed to get inch to an inch and a half, I think, out of it by the end of the weekend. Katrina says better. I think that means the lighting is better. So thank you. I appreciate that. Rick says, so I've got 24 eggs in my first week since they started laying. So I've got 24 eggs in my first week since they started laying. Yeah. Once they start, boy, they take off. So congratulations on that. Now you got to figure out what to do with all those eggs, don't you? Katrina says California black New Zealand cross. Okay, you're talking about the kind of rabbits you have. You're wondering when to breed. So that pretty much applies. They should be close to 10 pounds whenever they're adult age. So I would go, try to get them to 8.5 pounds and 6 months old. Hopefully that works. Rick says I've got 5 more days in turkey season. Yeah, we've got. Let's see. I think it ends Monday, actually. But, I can only hunt weekends because I work during the week. So I got Saturday and Sunday to hunt. Sunday looks like it's going to be raining all day. Saturday may be my last day. I don't know, honestly. It's the best I can do. We don't have a huge turkey population where I hunt. We saw a couple of jakes one day. We heard a turkey gobble two of the days we've gone. We've been every day. Well, let's see. We've gone 3 times now. 3 days total. A Saturday. I missed that Sunday after that. And then Saturday and Sunday last weekend. We can only hunt till 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Missouri. So you go out in the morning, hunt till 1 o'clock, and then you're done. And like I said, I've only been able to go out 3 days. And we had one day where we didn't hear or see anything. The other day we heard a turkey way off in the distance, way, way off. And saw a couple of jakes that came in. They walked a big circle around us, but never came in real close. And they're jakes anyway. Didn't want to shoot them. And then last weekend heard a turkey. It wasn't too far away from us, gobbled a couple of times, but wasn't really responding to the calls. Never came in, never saw it. So hopefully this weekend will be better. Ed Got Bait says, good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. Chris, all is going well here. Hopefully it is for you too. Good to see you. And there's Esto Swanson. I missed your comment. Sorry. It says, greetings from Mississippi. Let me get all my likes in. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're up to 23 now. We got 39 people in here. Hi, and the Bread Owl says, not just feathers. Her head is ripped open pretty bad. That could be, especially if you've got a young rooster that's just come of age. They tend to get a little bit overly excited, I guess that could be. And if it's back of the head that is ripped open, that's probably still just the breeding behavior. You may need to remove that rooster for a couple of days. Your eggs stay fertile for a while, up to about 7 days after they've been bred. So you could remove him for a couple of days and then put him back in. Chances are he's going to get beat up a little bit whenever he gets put back in, but that may put him in his place. So, that may be the case. Yep. And there's Verna's posted. She says, want to meet Chris in person? Not just me, but lots of people. She's posted a link to QuailCon 2023. So, yeah, go make sure you check that out. It's coming up in September, first weekend of September, and it's going to be a good time. Let's see. We got Scrap 5000 from New York City. Good to see you. Hey, there's Blessed with Pets. Good to see you, too. Scrap 5000 says, smash that like button. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Rick says, let's see. What is your hatch rate on your quail? It varies, honestly. You said 70, 50 question mark hatch rate. Okay, so I think what you're asking is what is my hatch rate on my quail? It varies quite a bit. It depends really a lot on how much attention I pay to it. Sometimes I just throw eggs in there and I just kind of come back during lockdown, put them in lockdown, and I'll get, but I usually average somewhere around probably 70%. If I really focus hard, I can get it up in the mid 80s on a regular basis, but I usually don't focus that hard on it. So I get about a 70% hatch rate on most hatches. Now I've had a little bit of a problem with my incubator. So this year I'm not doing that well. My first hatch was terrible. And that's when I started tweaking my incubator a little bit, trying to figure out what the issue was. Got it adjusted a little bit. Much better second hatch. I think I had a 65% hatch rate on my last batch. And then hopefully I've got some in the incubator right now. So we'll see how they do. Rick says, did you like my ant trap idea? Yeah, I saw that was your comment. Okay. I remember responding to that actually. Your comment about your ant trap idea in the incubator with all what your best okay. I think those are several different comments. We'll get to the others. Your ant trap idea. So basically you put down, I think it was a piece of cardboard or something like that, put some sugar on it, sugar and water. I can't remember exactly, but drew the ants in. It was just like sugary water and drew the ants into it. And then you took that out and put it in the hutch and let the birds eat the ants. So yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Hey, Marty from West Virginia. Good to see you. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Are you asking me? Verna's trying. I'm kind of confused here. I'm not really sure what you're saying here. You said in the incubator with all, and then Verna's responding to you saying you got 50 out of 70. That's 71%. And then you want to know what's my I think you were asking me though, what is my hatch rate on quail usually? I think that's what you're asking me. So I think that's what I answered. You want to know what's my best year for total quail hatched? Heck, I don't know. I don't keep track of it that close. So I have no idea how many quail I've hatched in a year. This year I've got 40 or 50 hatched so far this year. So it's not a huge number, but 40 or 50 so far. And I've only run 2 hatches. Is that right? I think it's closer to 40. Verna says there's only 4 camping spots left for QuailCon. So, I mean, you can always get a hotel room or something like that, but the camping spots, there's only 4 left. Katrina says, woohoo, QuailCon is going to be excellent. Yes, it is. It gets better every year. Blessed with Pets says, I'm writing out pedigrees for the first time ever currently. Sold my first baby bunny today. It was a Holland Lop, sold for $50. They didn't care for the pedigree though, and I believe someone wants to. Well, awesome. Congratulations on your sale. And pedigrees aren't that complicated. Don't make them overly complicated. I'm sure you'll get it down. Rick says, in Kentucky here, I'm covered up in turkey. Boy, I wish I could come to Kentucky and hunt there because we have turkey here in Missouri. They didn't have them at all when I was a kid. The conservation department's kind of reintroduced them and brought them back. And there's a fairly healthy population in some parts of Missouri, but I'm hunting in very southwest. I mean, right on the Oklahoma border, half an hour from Arkansas. And there's just not a ton of turkey there. But I mean, there are some, there's just not a ton. Christy Moore says, hello, new followers, Barry and Christy from Mississippi. Well, hello to you. And thanks for joining us for the live. Curtis, there you are, says, hey, Chris, how are you tonight? I finally made it. Yeah, well, thanks for joining. I'm doing well, by the way. Thank you. Hopefully you are too. Where we at here? Blessed with Pets says $2. Oh, so you got somebody that wants $2 from you. Well, good. Congratulations on that. $50, that's a good price for a rabbit. Rick says, if you want to really hunt one, let me know. Oh, I do, but I think Kentucky season's already over, isn't it? Let's find out. Kentucky turkey. I don't know that I could get away and get up there anyway. Yeah, it ends this weekend too. So yeah, it's too late for me this year, but let me know ahead of time next year. I'll see if I can work something out. I'd love to come up there and hunt Kentucky. All right. Mark says, Chris, I have 11 jumbo wild hens, 8 weeks old. I started laying at 7 weeks, but nothing from the rest. Is that normal? Wait, you have 11 jumbo wild hens, 8 weeks old. One started laying at 7 weeks, but nothing else, nothing from the rest. Is that normal? Yeah, that's pretty normal. Usually, most of the time, sometimes you will get hens that start laying a little bit earlier if the conditions are all exactly right. Most of the time, though, you're looking at about 8 weeks old before they start laying. So yeah, that's pretty normal. And I don't know how you know it's the exact same hen laying every day, because when they first start laying, you're going to get sporadic. They may lay an egg one day, and it may take them another 2-3 days to lay another egg. But you give them a week or two, they'll start laying pretty consistently, and you'll have consistent egg production. So it doesn't sound like anything's off track there. I think you're fine. See what Verna says about it. She says, Mark, they can wait until 8 weeks old. Depends on where you got your birds. It depends a little bit on that. It also depends on the conditions. Make sure you got enough light, all that good stuff. Rick says that's awesome on the hatch. I got 18% 5 on my first. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky. If you're getting bad hatch rate, the best thing to check is the temperature of your incubator. That's what my problem was. I had 5 hatch out of like 40 some odd eggs I set. Threw some thermometers in there, and it was running hot. It was running hotter than what the thermostat on the incubator said. So I had to adjust it down to get it down in the right temperature. And then, boom, hatch rate was much, much better on the next hatch. So that's the first thing to check. Get a couple of thermometers. Make sure they're accurate thermometers. Calibrate them and put them in there. I always say get 2, because if you got 1, you don't know, is it the thermometer is right or the incubator that's right? And always 2 is better, because then you'll have 3 thermometers, and whichever 2 are the closest to each other, those are the ones you consider to be accurate, and then you adjust the incubator to that. All right, Blessed with Pets says, please keep my friends in your prayers. Lovely lady, a friend of ours, passed away yesterday shortly after being diagnosed with cancer. She was only 46, just a terrible, sad situation. That is terrible and sad. Prayers for her family, for sure. I've dealt with those things myself. I know, had experiences like that in my life. Lost some people too young. 46 is way too young, and it is definitely sad. So prayers for them. Hopefully her family is coping with that well. All right, let's move on. Not to belittle that situation, but we definitely praying for them. Hops and Lops says, is QuailCon in the same place every year? I'd like to come sometime, but it's a ways from Southern Ontario, Canada this year, and I don't know if it changes or always the same place. It's always in the same place. It's always at My Shire Farm in Miamisburg, Ohio. Hopefully you can make it. Yeah, it is a long trip, but make a weekend out of it, or it's 2-day event, so you can make a vacation out of it, I guess. Rick says, I find myself loving my quail with a question mark. Sounds weird, but I do. That's not weird. It's all right. S.O. Swanson says, you're in good company here, Rick. We suffer from that ourselves. Hops and Lops says, Taverna, for some reason I thought it was in Texas. Ohio is better than Texas, at least a shorter drive. Yeah, it is a shorter drive for sure. A lot closer than Texas. Feathered Connections says, hey, Chris, finally made it, and I'll be able to stop in for a few before a customer comes to her to get her baby chicks. I think it is. Comes for her baby chicks. Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. Good to see you. Rick says, I'll take you on a free guided hunt. Hey, that would be awesome. I would love that. I would have a great time doing that. I'm not a super experienced turkey hunter. They didn't have them, like I said, around here when I was a kid. It's something we just picked up about 6-7 years ago. And we're, because there's not a ton of turkey where I hunt, it's a little tricky. You don't get to hone your skills all that well. It takes years. We've shot 2 turkeys, I think, in the last 7 years. We go every year, and most years we just zero out. All right. Rick Britton says 3 more days. 3 more days, huh? Curtis says, I still have those 5. Yeah, I would hope. Hopefully, they're doing well for you. You still had the 5 birds I hatched out from the first hatch. I was hatching them out for Curtis. He's local here, and hit me up, wanted to buy some quail, so I hatched some out for him. Again, terrible hatch rate on the first batch. Rick says, "I'll get you a bird." Yeah, I don't want a bird given to me. I want to hunt them. I don't know if some of you guys are probably hunters. Some of you aren't. If you've never turkey hunted, it is when they're gobbling, when you're getting them to respond to the calls and stuff, it is some of the most exciting, fun hunting you'll ever do. It's just like deer hunting is like you go out, you pick a spot that you think the deer are going to, be, and there's lots of ways you can kind of narrow that down to like, this is a better spot. And then you sit and you wait for the deer. And you can call to them a little, but it's not, sometimes it doesn't work that great. But turkey's totally different. You're calling the bird, you're communicating with them. It's truly hunting them. It's a different thing. It's not just, you don't just sit there and wait for them to come by. If you do, that's incredibly boring because I've tried that before too. But no, you're going through, you're locating them. You get one to gobble, you start calling to it. Is it coming in? Is it not coming in? Do I need to circle around and try to get to a better? It's so exciting. It's so much fun. Let's see. Andy Rabbit says, "Blessed with pets. If someone doesn't want the pedigree, I just charge a $15 disposal fee of the pedigree." Interesting. I never thought about that. Says, "I bought a pedigree template for $3 on Etsy." Yeah, I don't actually have a pedigree template. I think I'm just going to make my own. There's no reason I have to buy one, but $3 is not a bad price for a pedigree template. So I guess you got what it worked out. So, let's see. Somebody's coming from England this year, huh? Feathered Connection says, I travel from Utah and I just fly in. It is a ways. One guy this year is coming from England this year. Yeah, I flew in the first year, going from Missouri to Miamisburg. I flew in the first year. Last year I drove it. It's about a 10-hour drive for me. So it's just on the verge of being too far for me to want to do it. But it's not too bad. The Frog Feeder says, "I'm out in the barn just finishing assembling my new super handy chicken plucker and my triple stacked My Shire model Winola cages." Well, awesome. It's like Christmas in May, isn't it? Let's see. We got a bunch of people talking to each other. The Frog Feeder says, "I already got wild turkeys strutting on my property." Yeah, you're lucky. We don't have a ton of them. We got a few. My cousin, we hunted one. I guess it's been 2 years ago now. Yeah, it wasn't last season. It was the season before. Last season, we called one in. I got a chance to shoot at it, but I got anxious a little. I wasn't quite patient enough. It was too far away when I shot, and it got away. I missed it. But the year before that, we tracked one through the woods for about 3.5 hours, running from place to place, trying to cut it off, and it would go past us in a valley, and we'd go over here and called that in. My cousin shot it. It was a 24-pound bird. Great, big, huge turkey. It was one of the best hunts I've ever been on. It was a great time. Frog Feeder says, "Apparently I moved to an awesome turkey area and the Wild Valley quail is abundant, to say the least." Well, awesome. That's always good. I haven't seen a lot of quail in the wild around here for a while. We did, I did run into some bobwhites on some public hunting land a couple of years ago. It was good to see those guys, but it's not bobwhites what we have for wild quail here. But they're definitely not like they used to be. It used to be pretty abundant here, and they're just not as many as there used to be. Hey, there's Jammin' Mike. Good to see you. Feather Connection says it's a 26+ hour drive from Provo, Utah to Miamisburg, Ohio. Way too far to drive. Yeah, that's a ways. I don't blame you for flying. Price of gas, it's probably just about as cheap to fly as it is to drive it anyway. So Hops and Lops is talking about, says just Hubby just said if border crossing went well, 7 to 8 hour drive. Then we Googled 6 hours driving, 5 days walking, 1 day biking. Yeah, I think I would drive it. Andy says, Chris, hatch some wild turkey out and release. I guess I could, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into that or not. Caesar says, I have to build another quail hutch for my extra males. My wife doesn't want me to cull them. Oh, no. You're going to be having some problems if she doesn't want you to cull any birds. S.O. Swanson says 5 days walking. It would take me just to get to town. Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine walking that far in 5 days. That's crazy. GoPro Unlimited says my Coternic started laying at 8 weeks, then dwindled off, not getting anything now. Interesting. I switched the feed to non-layer at the time, but now back to layer feeds. So if this is the cause of no eggs, how long before layer feed starts working? Also, males quit crowing too. Interesting. Unless the feed you switched them to was incredibly low protein or something, I don't think that really had much of an effect on it. Chances are it's really, I don't know where you've got them, if you got them outside in natural light or if you've got them indoors and you're putting artificial lights on them. Light is usually the number one reason why they don't lay, and it could be because, at 8 weeks old, they're just hitting that egg laying session and they're ready to go. So they start laying, but then there's not enough light to keep them laying consistently. They need 14 hours a day of light in order to lay pretty consistently. And we're just now getting to that kind of with natural light. So that may be the issue. Give them a little while. As long as your feed you're feeding them is over 20% protein, you don't really need to worry about that too much. That's probably not the issue. Give them a couple of weeks, and chances are they'll pick right back up. Frog Feeder says, my Chucker chicks got here yesterday. I didn't get a very good hatch. They're already dying. They came from Missouri. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. They're already dying. Unfortunately, I don't have any experience with them. I'm not really sure what to tell you there. Blessed with Pets says, trying to decide if I want to get more quail this weekend at the chicken swap. We bought 12 and have 2 hens and 3 roos left. They're about 5 weeks old. Well, I can't help you with that either. You got 12 of them. That seems like quite a few. I don't know that. I mean, we're talking egg layers, I'm assuming. So I don't know that you need more, but, it's not up to me. Jammer Mike says, I've walked 16 miles one way in 5 hours before. Yeah, I could see that. 16 miles in 5 hours. That's about a little over 3 miles an hour, isn't it? So or a little under 3 miles an hour, I guess. That's not bad pace. That's pretty good pace. But 5 hours of walking nonstop, that would, I don't know, that would do me in. Oh, and that's a good point Vernon brought up. She says GoPro Unlimited. So outside, it could take 2 weeks. They don't like change. That may be the case, too, if you moved them from like inside to outside, like they were laying, and then you moved them outside and they stopped laying. That's probably why they stopped laying. They don't like, they get stressed out from a move like that. And stress is the other factor that causes them to stop laying. And Verna's right on track with that. 2 weeks, roughly, is what it should take them to pick back up. Just don't stress about it. They'll get going again. Ben Carlos says, sorry I'm late. Hey, Ben from Black Bear Family Farms. My Celadon quail are laying finally. Southeast of Idaho has finally got into spring. That is awesome to hear. Thank you for joining us. Don't worry about being late. It's all good. We don't keep attendance here or keep track of that. So no worries there. But congratulations on getting your birds to start laying. I know it feels like spring is late. We actually got a spring this year. We don't usually. Usually it's like, we get spring, but it's not really spring-like. Usually it's pretty cold, and then stupid hot. And we've had like a month of pretty nice, pretty mild temperature. It's been getting up in the high 60s, low 70s during the day, dropping down in the low 50s down to the 40s at night. A couple of cold snaps here and there, but for the most part, it's not been bad. We got a pretty decent spring we don't usually get. Andy Rabbit says, Ben Carlos, I love my Celadon eggs. Celadons are kind of cool. GoPro Unlimited says, how about calcium content? Yes, outside, but they were laying eggs the most when I transitioned to outside. Yeah, that's the problem then. As far as calcium requirement, 1.5% to 2% calcium is about all they need. So that's probably in the feed. You probably don't need to worry about that either. It sounds to me like it was the move that got them to stop laying. If you move them, that's a stress factor for them. And they'll lay another egg or two for a couple of days, and then they shut down, and then they'll pick back up. Give them about 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. They'll pick right back up. Rick says the best sow right, the only hunting you the only hunting you I don't know what you're saying. There's a typo in there and it's throwing me off. I can't read it. The best sow right, talking about turkey hunting, the best sow right, the only hunting you something quail vids bar none. So I don't know. You said quail hunting is better maybe than turkey hunting. Yeah, I've quail hunted a few times. Don't have a good, dog for quail, for a pointer, to point them out and then flush them when you're ready. So to me, quail hunting was very much like you walking through the woods, and then they scare the crap out of you when they come flushing out of the brush, and you might get your gun pointed at them before they disappear behind some trees. It's difficult, but it's not bad. It's kind of fun. But I think turkey hunting is way more fun. Hi, the Bread Owl says, I did take my lights off my birds already. I'm seeing such a drop in egg production. Is the lighting the case? It could be. They need about 14 hours a day of light, and the days are just on the verge of that. So if you took the light away from them, you had longer days, and now you've given them shorter days. That could cause it. They'll adjust, though. Don't worry about it. They'll pick right back up. Gold Pro and Limited said, I meant to say they laid more outside. Yeah, they will, because you got to realize whenever whenever you move those birds, they stop laying, but they've already got eggs. I mean, they don't just make that egg and lay it all in the same day. It takes a day or two for that to work through their system from the start of the egg all the way through getting the shell on it and then all that to being laid. It takes a couple of days. So they're probably going to lay for another day, maybe two, after they've been stressed out and decided to stop laying, but they'll pick back up again. So don't stress about it. It's all good. They're going to get right back into it. Blessed with Pets says we had 12, but 6 died. It's really my dad's decision because he bought them. $4 a piece. Our 6 baby chickens we bought at $8 a piece also died. Just sucks. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds like you may have some brooder problems or something. Rick says, Kentucky Gobblers, my man. Come on, you're officially invited. Oh, I'd love to, man. It'd be great. I just can't make it. This weekend's it, and I can't make it this weekend. Gold Pro Unlimited says, I tarp the cage at night with a blue tarp. Would that cause it? Probably not. You're asking Verna, but I don't know why tarping it at night would cause it. It's something they should probably get used to. Verna's saying that could be part of the problem. Do they have a way to get out of the weather? And you say that's what the tarp is for. 3 sides are covered, and I open the front in the morning. So I don't think that's an issue. The movement is, moving them from one cage to another. That's what's going to get them. They're going to stress out on that. They're going to stop laying, but they'll pick back up. As long as you're, as long as you're keeping it uncovered front and light can get in, most of the, from sun up to sundown, you've got plenty of light. It's not a big deal. I don't think that's really an issue. Nuno Mello says Jumbo Wild 5-1 or 5-6. I'm not sure what you're asking me there. 5-1 or 5-6. Was there something else? I don't know what you're asking me exactly. I'm sorry. I'm confused. You're going to have to restate that one. Let me know specifically what you're asking. I'll do my best to answer it. S.O. Swanson saying to go Gold Pro Unlimited. What times are you adding or removing the tarps? Unless it's 5 a.m. and 11 p.m., you're shortening the light. And that could be the case. You could be shortening the amount of light. Let's see. Let's go. Living Out West says, I built a quail cage just like yours from watching your videos. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I shouldn't say thank you, but I'm glad that it worked for you. Thank you for watching the videos. That's kind of what I mean. I appreciate that. And hopefully it's doing well for you. They've done well for me. I like them quite a bit. Alfred says a good solar light will help, but sometimes it's too much light. Need to give them a little rest. Yeah, that's a good point. In the summertime, yeah, you don't really need anything. And Gold Pro Unlimited says, okay, thanks for your help, folks. You are absolutely welcome. Rick says ignorance. I don't know what that is in reference to. Let's see. White Trim says, hi, I've ordered my first set of fertilized quail eggs. Average humidity here where I live is about 9%. There is a lot of mixed reports on what humidity should be while incubating. Okay, so really what you're looking at, and then you're asking what should I aim for the first 14 days, and then what to raise it to when you go into lockdown. Okay, so there is a, I'm looking at, yeah, okay. So yeah, what you're looking at here for the first, humidity is not as important as temperature, but 9% humidity is awful low. So what you really want to do is shoot for somewhere around 50 to 60% humidity during the first 14 days. Don't stress about it. If it's running the 40%, it's okay. Don't go too high. You don't really want it above about 75 to, if you get it up to 80%, that's too high, and that can have adverse effects on it. So there's a wide range there that they're going to be pretty happy in. When you go into lockdown, you do want to bump it up a little bit, try to get it up to about 70%. But again, try not to go too much over, don't go to 80%. You don't want it over 80%. So hopefully that kind of helps. But it's not as big of a stress factor. Don't stress about it if you only get it in the 60% range the whole time. It'll be fine. Curtis says, don't know if I told you, but had 49 of those 66 Peking eggs hatched. That's not bad. That sounds pretty good. So congratulations. Well done. Andy says, I don't worry what the humidity is much during incubation, just at lockdown mostly. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, but I also live in Missouri. So, usually when I'm incubating, it's in the summertime and our humidity's, fairly high here. We don't live in an area where it's 9% humidity. So that's a little bit more, you do probably need to worry a little bit more about humidity there. But you're right. I don't worry about it too much. Like I said, if you can get it from 40 to 70% in that range right there, you're going to be fine. Gold Pro Unlimited says, hit the thumbs up, peeps. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And now I think Rick's just trying to get me to say words. He says, Yahoo. I don't know what you're talking about. And Verna says the same thing. Yeah, humidity at lockdown should be 70 to 76. Before lockdown, just add a little water. Yeah, that's good advice. That works. Rick says, I love my quail. Yeah, I think we've decided that already, but we all love our quail, I think. So you're in good company, like was already said. Alfred says, hey, Rick, I've been getting lots of eggs, but not good market around me to sell. Yeah, there's not a huge market for them around here either. You can sell a few here and there. In order to really sell a lot of quail, I think you need to be MPIP certified, a lot of quail eggs, I should say, MPIP certified and willing to be able to ship them out to people. Nuno says Jumbo Wild 5 to 6 or 6 to 1 to make sure your eggs are fertile. Oh, okay. You can go up to 6 to 1. I like to do about 5 to 1, but 6 to 1 would work too. Either one's going to be fine. If you can do it, 5 to 1 gives you a little bit more guarantee on your fertility. Yeah, Verna says the same thing. She says either one. All right, where are we at on time? We got 20 minutes left. Comments have slowed down. We'll give it just a minute and see if anybody has anything else to talk about. And nothing. It's like crickets. I should always have topics planned out. This doesn't happen very often, but Katrina wants to know, how's the garden? Well, I hadn't really started yet much. The green stock, I put some radish and lettuce and carrots and beets and bok choy in there, and it's all going great. All of it sprouted. It's going really well. But the main garden, the potatoes, I planted those back in March. They're doing great. I didn't buy seed potatoes this year. I just had a bag of potatoes that, I don't know, Idaho, 5-pound bag of potatoes. It wasn't quite 5 pounds by this time, but we didn't eat them real fast, and they started sprouting eyes. So I just stuck them in the ground to plant them, and they took off. They're doing great. But the rest of the garden hasn't really been planted yet. We're looking at probably, like I said, I probably could plant it out this weekend, but I'm turkey hunting, so it'll be probably next weekend I'll get that planted. Oh no, Verna's got a migraine. Says got a migraine. I'm sorry to hear that, Verna. I hope you start feeling better. And no apologies necessary. Go take care of yourself. It's fine. S.O. Swanson says, Chris, this weekend is Mother's Day. Is your garden all in yet? I think I just answered that one, really. But no, not yet. Like I said, I could get them out this weekend, but I've got other things going on, so I'll probably wait another week to get it all planted out. Steve says 2 roos in a cage with 10 hens. Okay. Absolutely. I do that all the time. Actually, I run higher numbers than that, but yes, 2 in a cage with 10 hens, that'll work perfectly fine. And Gold Pro Unlimited says, oh yeah, the quail are not mating either. Yeah, that's probably all due to the move. Could be the lack of light if you're tarping them up and keeping them in the dark too long. Pull that tarp off the front if you can. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it's possible to cut it so you can give half of it blocked off from the weather and the other half just open all the time so you don't have to worry about going and removing it or pulling it off or anything like that. But it's the same thing that would affect the egg laying and also affects the roosters from crowing and mating. So that's it. They'll pick up. Don't worry. Ben says, your new baby rabbits are so cute. Are they earmarked for processing? Well, I've got a couple of them. Somebody wants to buy a couple of them. So a couple of them are going to be sold. I may offer up a couple of them on like Craigslist to sell. And then the rest of them, they're meat rabbits. That's what they're for. Katrina says unlimited, go to GoPro Unlimited. The light should be at least 16 hours a day. Really 14. That's 16's better, sure, but 14 should do it. And Godro says, what's the max height your quail's cage should be? I don't know that there's any such thing as a max height your quail cage needs to be. I have heard, and kind of the common wisdom is really like 18 inches high, I think, or 6 feet high, because they're worried about the birds flushing when they get startled, hit and getting up. Like if you have it 24, 36 inches high, they can get up enough speed, hit the cage when they flush and break their necks. I don't know how big of an issue that really is. I think mine are 24 inches tall. I have never had a bird that I know of. I mean, I've lost a bird for unknown reasons before, but very rarely has that even happened. So I don't think I've ever had a bird flush and hit their head and break their neck or anything like that. I don't know that your cage height is really that big of a concern. But the point is, you don't need to go any higher than about 18 to 24 inches. I think I picked 24 inches because that's the height of the hardware cloth I could buy to wrap it with. And I didn't want to have to, I didn't go 18. I didn't want to have to cut the hardware cloth down. I just went with the width of the roll of hardware cloth so it would fit perfectly. Alfred says, just wanted to thank you for all the info. I was drunk watching YouTube, then saw your quail page and got interested, and then reminded me of the childhood raising them in the Philippines, family and friend. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for watching the videos either way, but I'm glad that you found them helpful and found them entertaining. Andy Rabbit says, I just hatched out. Was going to call the hatch this morning and then clean the incubator. And, 10 more hatched out. Hatch started on Monday. Yeah, they can definitely take days to hatch. It's happened to me before, too. Oh, interesting. So Alfred says, Google, is it quack? Is that what it's called? It's a Filipino food, fried quail dipped in sauce. Let me do that real quick. Yeah, fried orange quail eggs. Fried orange quail eggs, huh? Oh, they're battered. Wait, coated with an orange batter and deep fried until crispy. I'll have to look into that. When you say orange, is that just the color, or is it actually oranges? I don't like oranges, so I don't know if I would like that or not. But anyway, Blessed with Pets says, how long can I keep 4 grow out future breeder does in one 30 by 36 inch cage? All breeders are under 5 pounds full grown. I would separate them out before they get to be about 5 months old, 4 months old, somewhere right around in there, because does especially can get very territorial, and you might end up with some fighting and some issues. I think it'd probably be best to go ahead and separate them out before then. Hops and Lops says, can you put raspberries on an arch? Like, will it help them at all, or will they grow over it? I don't know, honestly. I have never grown raspberries. I would think that they would. I don't think they would grow over it now that I think about it. I think the raspberry canes are like blackberry, right? They only get like 4 feet tall, something like that. I don't know. And they're not really clingers. They're kind of, they just grow. I think they're similar to blackberry. I don't know that it would work. You could do it, but I don't know that it would do you any good. Square Body LT says, hello from Albuquerque. We're getting almost 4 eggs from a total of 10 chickens. 7 are about 9 months old, 3 older chickens. Yay. So I guess you're saying you're getting 4 eggs a day from a total of 10 chickens. So I guess that's good. That seems a little low to me, but that's probably time of year more than anything, and they should pick up. Andy says, that's why my cages are 2 feet also. Yeah, that's exactly the reason I made them 2 feet tall. Steve says, got a white crested bird, likely a fee cross. Looked like a pearl fee to me. Thought it was a rube, but Vince sexed yesterday and looks like a hen to me. Thought these were feather sexable. The pearl fee, I don't know that they are actually, now that I'm not real familiar with the pearls. I got to look those up, but I don't think the pearls are feather sexable. I really don't know. Sorry, I can't answer that one for you. Most of my experiences with jumbo pharaohs, and I'm familiar with a couple of the other ones, but the pearls are kind of a newer one. I kind of got bored with all the different colors, and that's a newer one since I was into all that I don't know a lot about, but I didn't think they were feather sexable. I may be wrong. Gold Pro Unlimited says, come on, folks, smash that like button or smash that thumbs up for Slightly Rednecked. It's free. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Blessed with Pets says, okay, I just need enough time to get more cages. Hey, I know the feeling. I got to build some grow out pins right now for mine. Who knows when I'll get that done. Alfred says, it's kind of like a tempura style. It's not orange. The color is just orange because of food coloring, but the sauce is really good. It's kind of an appetizer. Or try Sippo egg, another Filipino dish. I don't know if I said that right or not either. Let me look that up. Sippo egg. I'll take a look at those later and see. Thanks for the suggestions. I appreciate it. Katrina says, I use a cattle panel trellis to trellis my blackberries. Not sure how similar that is to raspberries. I've never thought about even trellising blackberries. They just grow on a big cane anyway, so I don't know the reason you might need to trellis them, but I guess it would work. I don't know. Jammin' Mike says, we're getting 18 chicken eggs a day most of the time out of 21 and got one with 6 baby chicks. What? So you're getting 18 chicken eggs a day most of the time out of 21 chickens and got one with, you've got one chicken that has 6 baby chicks, I think is what you're saying. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good egg laying rate. Rick says, I love your videos. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. And then Jammin' Mike says, we feed them an egg layer pellet. That makes sense. S.O. Swanson says, is it growl fee is not? It depends on what their parents are. Is that not feather sexable? Is that what you're saying? I'm guessing. Andy Rabbit says, I'm getting a white out of my jumbo pharaohs every hatch so far. I got a white out of one of mine too, this last hatch. All that is a gene mutation. It was just isolated. That's how they came up with white quail. That's how all these different colors came about. So yeah, it's possible. And it's quite possible that you've got some birds that carry that as a recessive trait. And that's why you're getting one every once in a while. It's not a bad thing necessarily. Katrina says, I have a small space and it's all squeezed into my edible landscaping. If you don't trellis blackberries, the ends will root and it will take over the world. Well, yeah, they can be pretty prolific. That's for sure. I know what you're talking about. Ben says, For your breeders, for you breeders out there, I have one hen laying extra large egg. They're not jumbos. If I hatch these out, what are my chances of the offspring also laying extra large eggs? You're talking about quail, I'm assuming. You said they're not jumbo. They're not jumbo birds. The chances are probably pretty slim that that's going to be a huge egg from their offspring too. Maybe slightly bigger eggs, and over time, if you were to continue to breed those, you would get maybe slightly bigger eggs, consistently. But it's not, even if that is a gene that bird carries that causes them to lay, great big eggs like that or extra large eggs. They're the bird carrying it. It's not like, it's unlikely that the rooster that's breeding with them also has that gene to pass that on. I'm not a genetics expert, but that's the way I kind of understand it there. Also, your extra large eggs, are you sure they're not double yolk eggs? Because that's something that you get periodically from time to time, but it's usually not usual for a bird to consistently lay those. But you never know. Gary B's here says late, but hello. You're thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. And again, we don't keep attendance here, so I was just checking the time, see how much time we had left. We don't keep attendance here, so you're not really late. We're just glad you made it either way. And then we got Eric from Maryland. Good to see you too. Thanks for joining us. And we're now at another dead spot in the chat, the live chat that's going on here. So I don't have a topic to talk about. I did order new chickens today. You guys have been following along. You know that my meat chickens got decimated by a possum. I think it was a possum anyway. The possum's what came back once I put the camera in there the next night. Lots of people, are pretty convinced that it was actually a raccoon that did it. Maybe. I think it was probably pretty safe to say it was the possum, but who knows? I did order some more, so we'll get those in a couple of weeks. We'll do some more videos on there. Somebody wanted a start to finish meat chickens video series, so I'll do that. Janine Nutter says, was looking for vinyl coated 1/2 inch by 1 inch wire for the bottom of my quail cage. Can't find it anywhere. I've heard that 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch vinyl coating doesn't allow the poop to go through. You're probably right on that, especially with it being vinyl coated. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Boy, that's expensive. That's 1/2 by 2. That's 1/2 inch period. Yeah, it may be hard to find. Is that it on Amazon? 16 gauge 1 inch. 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, 24 1 inch. I may have to look into that a little bit further for you later. I can't find it right offhand either. Blessed with Pet says, still trying to type out this pedigree. That's all right. You're all good. I'm not complaining when I say the chat is slowed down. I'm just letting you know why I got quiet. S.S. Swanson says, if y'all can hit the like button, help the algorithm. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. We got almost everybody hit the like button. We got 49 people or 54 people, 49 likes. And we got Danny Reviews, I think it is, from the UK. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Curtis says, have you got any new vids out lately? Yeah, I put new vids out most weeks. Sometimes I take a week off, but most of the time I get a new video out every week. I put out a video on Monday. I think I was telling the story of the chickens on Monday, the terrible massacre of my meat chickens. Anyway, is it Kia Chris says, thoughts on the Purina 30% protein game bird crumble? It has soy. I don't know if that's a problem or not. Honestly, I don't think that's a big issue. You can probably find cheaper than Purina, but 30% protein, it sounds fine. I wouldn't worry about the soy in it myself. Bev Smith is here. Good to see you. Says I'm late, but again, we don't keep track of that, so don't worry about it. We're just glad you're here. David says, hey, from McAllister, we're close to finishing our first rabbit hutch. Our daughter will be bringing a buck and a doe this weekend. Well, congratulations on your new rabbits. I know exactly where McAllister is. Used to go through there all the time on the way back and forth from Texas when I lived down there. Let's see. Christy says, do you grind up the feed for the babies, and how long do you do that? No, I don't grind it up. It's a crumble feed, there's no need to grind it up. They eat it just fine. Patricia says, hello, my raspberry vines grow up to 10 feet per year. You must prune them. They spread very fast. Love mine. Good luck. Yeah, I'm not familiar with raspberries, really. I know with blackberries, they produce on their second year cane. They don't grow, usually don't get more than 5-6 feet. And they don't continue to, like, they produce and then they die. And the next year, the ones that were produced or that started the year before will produce their blackberries. So it's a little different, I guess. Curtis says, I have 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch coated with no problem with it. Well, interesting. Well, there you go. Maybe you can use just 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Eric says, went to animal auction last night. They just let poultry back in. Saw 5 cages full of male jumbo wilds. Oh, man, somebody's buying male jumbo, a cage full of male. That seems kind of odd. But anyway, and Bev says the same thing. 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch coated works wonderful. No poo problems or issues is what you said. Thank you for the feedback on that. Appreciate it. Andy Rabbit says, blessed with pets, I have used Canvan to make pedigrees. Just need to make a template. Yeah, I was thinking about making mine in Excel because I do everything in Excel. It's just what I'm used to, what I'm familiar with. But who knows? I may look into some other options. Janine says, so what do you use to make the bottom of your cages? What gauge should I use? Get the widest gauge you can. Usually that's going to be somewhere around 16 gauge. But if you can go with a 14 or a 12 gauge, you probably won't be able to find those. I use a 1/2 inch square on mine, but it's not a coated wire. I do need to probably change it out to coated wire. I do think that is better for their feet. But if you could get a bigger gauge, like a 14 gauge, that's going to be even better. The smaller the gauge, the bigger around the wire is. And the bigger around the wire is, the better it's going to be for their feet. I don't have huge feet problem with my birds. Every once in a while I get a bird that kind of limps around for a while, but it's not very common. But it is better, especially if you're raising jumbo birds. The bigger the birds get, the better it is to have a wider gauge. And that coated wire does give a wider gauge to it, basically. Square Country Homestead, good to see you. Hops and Lops says, thank Patricia. They're about 5 foot right now, but I think they'll only fruit on the new wood, so I'm not sure if it's worth the effort. Yeah, good question. I don't know. And Eric says they were going for $3 to $5 per bird for males, huh? For roosters. Ben says, Takia Chris says, I avoided Purina now after the last layer feed issue. Find a local grain place. I think that's probably your best bet, but I don't know if there's any problems with Purina or not. I know there was a big controversy about them, but I don't know that anything was ever proven. And if there was any issues, I'm sure they've got it fixed. But still, yeah, if you can find a local feed mill, that's a better deal. After a horrible morning, one of my roos totally scalped 2 others. He is now in freezer camp. Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. Hopefully that works. I know it will work. That's what I do with aggressive birds, too, is throw them in the freezer. But Frog Leader says, got a nail in my tire. Oh, no. Sorry to hear that. My wife had a screw in her tire. I had to pull it out and stick a plug in it yesterday. Bev says, but I got my first eggs today. Well, it's not all bad then. There is some good to it. Congratulations on that. Gary says, we've had serious predators, raccoons, possibly a fox involved. My solar charger gave out, tried a simple AC charger, but discovered it's not very good on net fencing designed for wire. Yeah, that is frustrating. Hopefully you can get that under control pretty quick because nothing worse than predators, clearing out your flock. Square Body LT says, how long does it take for the chickens to molt? I don't know, honestly. I've never kept chickens long enough to have them molt. Quail, it varies a little bit on when they molt. Usually it seems like they want to molt like right at the change of the season, right at like whenever spring hits or right at whenever fall, going into winter, they want to molt then. Usually about 6 months to a year old, somewhere right around in there. All right, Danny, let's see, says, how are you doing on time? Oh, we're almost out of time. We're about ready to wrap this up, and we got some questions or some comments to respond to. So Danny says, I've got a colony set up. One litter is a few weeks old. I had another litter the other day by a new mom. Found them dead this morning. I think maybe the other rabbits use the nest box as a litter. It's possible. I've never heard really anybody that's had big success with doing like a colony setup with rabbits. I've always heard issues like what you're talking about there, where they have whole litters lost for unknown reasons. But I don't know what to tell you on that one. I'm sorry. Sorry that you had that problem. Hopefully it's a one-time issue. David says, lockdown with 39 of our own quail, autumn, amber, Italian, and pansy fee. 9 chicks so far, so this will be a busy weekend. Sounds like it. Hopefully that you get a great hatch out of that. So Gary says Amazon and Fencer wire carries the 1/2 inch by 1 inch, 16 gauge coated welded wire. Okay, I'll look into that one. Danny says, Trey, any advice on how to avoid this happening again, or is it a first-time mom thing? When you say Trey, I don't know who Trey is, but it could be a first-time mom. If you've got them in a colony setting, it could also be, sometimes the males will kill the other, kill the litters of rabbits. I can't really give you a whole lot of advice on that because I don't raise in a colony. I raise in cages with, rabbits in their own space. So I don't know, honestly, what it could be. It could be a number of different reasons. Blessed with Pets is heading out. Good to see you tonight. Have a good evening. Jennifer says to GoPro Unlimited, I heard if you get a double yolk to hatch, they are hens and lay double yolk. I've never had a double yolk hatch. Yeah, double yolks very seldom ever do hatch. I guess it's possible, but it's pretty rare if you can get them to hatch. Danny says, when am I okay to move my jumbo quail outdoors? They're 3 weeks old currently. We're in spring here. I've heightened the heat pan, but currently indoors still. So they should be good to go. 3 weeks old, they should be feathered out. Unless you're still getting like temperatures well below freezing, I would just go ahead and get them acclimated, raise the heat plane up as much as you can, take it off for a couple of days while they're indoors, move them outside. In the summertime when we don't get temperatures at night down below about 50 degrees, and even in the spring when it's not below 50 degrees at night, they go out at 2.5 to 3 weeks old, and as soon as they're feathered out, really. Yep. All right. Looks like this is a good place to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Don't see any reason why not at this point that I can't be here next Thursday. So I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for joining me. And as always, God bless.